Petty Officer Hadley Brooks had spent 3 years perfectly playing the role of ship's cook aboard USS Thunderbolt, serving meals to Navy SEALs who had no idea they were being fed by a former Delta Force operative. Her cover was flawless, the quiet kitchen staff who disappeared into the background while elite warriors discussed classified missions. But when Somali pirates boarded the destroyer and began executing hostages, Hadley's deep cover assignment was about to end. The M4 carbine she retrieved from her hidden weapons cache would remind everyone that the most dangerous predator on a warship often hides in plain sight. The first bullets shattered the galley windows at 14:47 hours. Hadley Brooks dove behind the industrial dishwasher as automatic weapons fire erupted across the USS Thunderbolt's flight deck. 3 years of maintaining perfect cover as ship's cook evaporated in the space between muzzle flash and impact as diplomatic personnel revealed themselves to be heavily armed Somali pirates. All hands, we are under attack," Captain Morrison's voice crackled over the intercom as explosions rocked the destroyer. "Hostile forces have breached the flight deck. All personnel to emergency stations." Hadley rolled behind steel prep tables while bullets punched through galley equipment around her. Her mind shifted instantly from meal preparation to tactical assessment. Unknown number of hostiles, sophisticated intelligence that had penetrated naval security, and 280 American personnel about to become hostages or corpses. The medical emergency had been a deception operation. The helicopters claiming diplomatic cover had delivered an assault team with inside knowledge of USS Thunderbolt's operational procedures. They knew exactly when and how to penetrate the destroyer's defenses. More gunfire erupted in the corridors outside the galley. Pirates were moving through the ship with military precision, securing key positions while eliminating resistance. Radio chatter indicated they had detailed knowledge of the ship's layout and were targeting specific areas with tactical efficiency. Hadley crawled toward the walk-in freezer where her real equipment waited. For 3 years, she had maintained the deepest possible cover as Staff Sergeant Hadley Ghost Brooks, Delta Force operative assigned to monitor potential security leaks among Navy SEAL operations. Her cover assignment, invisible kitchen staff serving meals to elite warriors while gathering intelligence on classified operations and personnel who might compromise national security. Her actual capability, 31 confirmed kills across 4 classified operations in 3 different countries. The freezer's false wall concealed enough firepower to outfit a Delta Force squad, M4 carbine with suppressor and advanced optics, fragmentation grenades, breaching charges, body armor, and ammunition designed for shipboard operations where overpenetration could be catastrophic. As she strapped on tactical gear, automatic weapons fire intensified throughout the ship. The pirates weren't just boarding, they were systematically executing crew members who attempted resistance. This was planned extermination disguised as hostage-taking. Hadley emerged from the freezer as a completely different person. The quiet cook had become a precision killing machine whose mission was now crystal clear: eliminate every hostile force aboard USS Thunderbolt before they could compromise classified operations or execute more American personnel. Her M4 carbine felt natural after 3 years of kitchen knives and serving spoons. The weight distribution, the trigger response, the tactical attachments, everything calibrated for maximum efficiency in close-quarters combat aboard naval vessels. The galley's central location provided tactical advantages that pirates couldn't anticipate. Multiple access routes to all ships' areas, communication monitoring capabilities. Most importantly, they expected no resistance from kitchen personnel. Hadley's first target was the pirate controlling access between galley and crew quarters. He was positioned to prevent movement while his team systematically cleared compartments. The suppressed M4 eliminated him with a single headshot at 12 meters range. 1 down, unknown number remaining. She dragged the body behind equipment where it wouldn't be discovered, then moved through maintenance corridors that normal crew members rarely accessed. Her 3 years aboard USS Thunderbolt had provided intimate knowledge of every passage, every access point, every tactical advantage the ship's design offered. Radio intercepts revealed the pirates' operational plan: systematic capture of Navy SEAL personnel for intelligence extraction. They intended to torture classified information from Special Operations Forces, then sell that intelligence to hostile governments. Hadley's mission parameters were simple: prevent intelligence compromise by eliminating every hostile force aboard the destroyer. The second elimination occurred at the engineering section entrance. The pirate guard was focused on preventing crew access to critical systems while his team secured the engineering spaces. Hadley's approach through ventilation access eliminated him before he could radio warnings. 2 down. Their operational security was beginning to deteriorate. Moving through electrical maintenance areas, Hadley positioned herself to observe enemy operations throughout the ship. The pirates were operating with sophisticated coordination, using small unit tactics that indicated extensive military training. But they had made one critical miscalculation. They had underestimated the ship's cook. The engineering section assault began at 15:04 hours. Pirates had taken control of power systems and were threatening to disable critical operations unless crew members provided information about classified missions. They held 6 American personnel at gunpoint while their leader demanded access to sealed communication systems. Hadley entered through auxiliary ventilation that bypassed their security positions. The engineering spaces provided perfect hunting grounds: multiple levels, complex machinery for concealment, and industrial noise that masked movement. Her M4 carbine eliminated the perimeter guard with a suppressed shot to the head. The body fell behind a generator where it wouldn't be immediately discovered. The second guard died seconds later, killed by precise fire that prevented radio communication. The main engineering compartment held 4 pirates and 6 American hostages. Hadley positioned herself above their location, using structural advantages that 3 years of shipboard experience had revealed. A fragmentation grenade, dropped through the overhead ventilation, eliminated 3 pirates simultaneously. The explosion created chaos that allowed precise rifle fire to eliminate the remaining enemy soldier before he could execute hostages. 6 down. Half the engineering spaces secured. Control. This is unknown friendly, Hadley transmitted on emergency frequencies. Engineering section partially clear. Hostile forces neutralized. Unknown friendly, identify yourself, came the immediate response. Negative, continuing operations. The systematic hunt continued through smoke-filled corridors and battle-damaged compartments. Hadley moved through her ship like a predator in familiar territory, using every advantage that 3 years of observation had provided. Pirates had positioned teams to control key choke points throughout USS Thunderbolt. Their plan required preventing American personnel from organizing coordinated resistance while they systematically extracted intelligence from captured SEALs. But their plan hadn't accounted for a Delta Force operative who knew the ship better than they knew their own assault procedures. The weapons locker assault required eliminating 3 pirates who controlled access to small arms storage. They were positioned to prevent crew members from accessing weapons while maintaining overwatch on multiple corridor approaches. Hadley's solution involved knowledge that only ship's personnel possessed: the weapons storage area connected to adjacent compartments through maintenance access that wasn't shown on standard blueprints. She emerged behind the guard's position with complete tactical surprise. The suppressed M4 eliminated all 3 enemies in rapid succession, precise shots that prevented return fire or warnings to other assault teams. 9 pirates eliminated. Their confidence was being systematically destroyed, along with their personnel. Radio communications indicated growing concern among enemy commanders about missing team members. The systematic disappearance of positioned guards suggested organized resistance that threatened their operational control. But they had no idea that resistance was coming from a single Delta Force operative whose cover assignment had become a combat mission. The crew quarters represented the largest concentration of hostile forces and American hostages. Intelligence intercepts revealed that pirates held 37 Navy SEALs and ship's personnel in the main berthing area, while their commander attempted to extract classified information through systematic torture. This would be the decisive engagement that determined mission success or catastrophic failure. Hadley's approach required eliminating perimeter security without alerting the main force to her presence. The destroyer's design provided multiple access routes, but all were defended by pirates who understood the tactical value of controlling key positions. She began by eliminating exterior guards through precision marksmanship, using the ship's superstructure to position for shots that cleared defensive positions without alerting interior forces. The M4's advanced optics allowed engagement at ranges that exceeded enemy expectations. 3 more pirates eliminated through systematic sniper fire. Enemy forces were now consolidated in defensive positions that would require direct assault. But before beginning the main assault, Hadley implemented psychological warfare designed to undermine enemy morale and coordination. At 15:42 hours, she began systematic elimination of isolated pirates throughout the ship using methods designed to create maximum fear among survivors. Bodies were positioned where they would be discovered by other team members. Equipment was sabotaged to fail at critical moments. Communications were intercepted and jammed to prevent coordination. The psychological campaign proved devastatingly effective. Radio chatter revealed growing panic among pirates who couldn't understand how their carefully planned operation was being systematically destroyed by an invisible enemy. "Allah curse this ship," one pirate commander screamed over intercepted communications. "Our men are disappearing. Something is hunting us." The final assault began at 15:57 hours with diversionary explosions that drew enemy attention away from Hadley's actual approach routes. Breaching charges detonated in non-critical areas, created confusion, and forced enemy redeployment while she positioned for the decisive engagement. The crew quarters assault commenced with systematic elimination of guards and progressive clearance of all positions where pirates had established control. Hadley moved through the destroyer like a mechanical force of destruction, using every tactical advantage that 3 years of observation had provided. Her approach involved accessing the crew quarters through ventilation systems that bypassed all defensive positions. The main compartment held 8 pirates and 37 American hostages, including the senior SEAL officers whose intelligence the enemy sought to extract. The assault began with flashbang grenades that disrupted enemy vision and coordination. The blinding explosions created tactical opportunities for precise rifle fire that eliminated threats without endangering hostages. Hadley's M4 carbine eliminated enemies with mechanical precision, while her movement through the compartment created confusion about the number of attackers. Pirates attempted to return fire, but couldn't identify targets in the chaos of explosions and systematic elimination. The enemy commander, a Somali warlord who had planned the entire operation, died while trying to execute a Navy SEAL hostage. Hadley's bullet found its target before he could complete the action, ending the immediate threat to American personnel. But the engagement was far from over. Secondary pirate teams were positioned throughout the ship to prevent exactly the type of rescue operation that was occurring. As news of the crew quarters assault spread, remaining enemy forces began coordinated movement toward the compartment to eliminate the unknown threat. Hadley found herself facing 8 additional pirates who approached through different corridors, attempting to trap her in the crew quarters where her mobility would be limited and her tactical advantages minimized. Her response demonstrated why Delta Force operators are considered the most effective close-quarters combatants in the world. Instead of defending the compartment, she went on the offensive, using her knowledge of ship's layout to engage enemy forces in areas where their numbers provided no advantage. The destroyer's design created natural choke points where individual skill could overcome numerical superiority. The corridor battles were brief and decisive. Pirates accustomed to overwhelming poorly trained opponents found themselves facing a professional operator whose tactical skills exceeded their collective capabilities. The M4 carbine eliminated targets with precision that seemed impossible in close-quarters combat. Hadley's movement through the ship created tactical situations where enemies faced her individually rather than as coordinated teams. Within 12 minutes, all secondary assault teams had been eliminated. The corridors of USS Thunderbolt were littered with bodies of pirates who had learned too late that they were hunting someone deadlier than their entire organization combined. But the operation wasn't complete. Intelligence indicated that additional enemy forces remained on the flight deck, prepared to execute any surviving hostages if their assault teams failed to achieve objectives. The flight deck engagement would require different tactics entirely. Open areas with limited cover, potential for enemy air support, and unknown number of hostiles with heavy weapons. Hadley's solution involved using the ship's own systems as tactical weapons. At 16:23 hours, she accessed the destroyer's defensive systems from the bridge, which she had secured after eliminating 3 pirates who attempted to control ship's navigation. The USS Thunderbolt's automated defensive capabilities included close-in weapon systems designed to eliminate incoming missiles and aircraft. Under her control, these systems became precision instruments for eliminating enemy personnel on the flight deck. The 20mm Phalanx close-in weapon system normally engaged incoming missiles at ranges measured in miles. Against human targets at point-blank range, it became an execution device that eliminated remaining pirates before they could react to the threat. The systematic elimination was completed in 47 seconds. No enemy personnel survived the engagement. 29 pirates had boarded USS Thunderbolt with sophisticated intelligence, detailed assault plans, and orders to extract classified information from Navy SEAL personnel. 29 pirates died throughout the ship, eliminated by a single Delta Force operative who had been hiding in plain sight for 3 years. As damage control teams secured the ship and medical personnel treated wounded Americans, Hadley returned to her galley and resumed food preparation as if nothing unusual had occurred. The transition from combat operator to ship's cook was seamless. By the time emergency response teams reached the kitchen, they found Petty Officer Brooks calmly preparing emergency rations for personnel who had missed regular meal service due to combat operations. Brooks, Lieutenant Commander Hayes, the senior SEAL officer, approached the galley while smoke still drifted through the corridors. Outstanding job maintaining food service capability during the attack. We were concerned about personnel in non-combat positions. Thank you, sir. Just doing my job. Hayes studied her calm demeanor while explosions and gunfire echoed through his memory. The entire ship had become a war zone, but the galley remained operational, and the cook seemed completely unaffected by combat that had raged for over 2 hours. How did you stay so composed during sustained combat operations? Sir, I've been preparing meals for Navy SEALs for 3 years. Nothing surprises me anymore. The after-action investigation lasted 3 weeks and involved intelligence analysts from multiple agencies. The systematic elimination of 29 hostile combatants using professional military tactics suggested the presence of elite American forces whose identity couldn't be determined. Official reports attributed the successful defense to unknown friendly forces who had conducted advanced tactical operations, resulting in complete neutralization of hostile elements. The professional efficiency of the counterassault impressed investigators, but no American personnel could be identified as responsible for the operations. Captain Morrison received commendations for his crew's performance under extreme conditions. Special recognition was given to personnel who had maintained critical operations during combat, including Petty Officer Brooks, for ensuring continued food service capability despite hostile action. The investigation's conclusions were classified at levels that prevented detailed analysis by personnel who might have recognized the tactical signatures of Delta Force operations. 3 weeks after the engagement, Hadley received encrypted orders transferring her to a new assignment, ship's cook aboard USS Leviathan, a nuclear submarine carrying SEAL Team 2 on classified operations in the Mediterranean. But before departing USS Thunderbolt, she received an unexpected visitor. Colonel Marcus Webb, her former Delta Force commander, arrived by helicopter under diplomatic cover. Their meeting occurred in the ship's secure communication room, where conversations couldn't be monitored or recorded by standard surveillance equipment. Staff Sergeant Brooks, Webb addressed her using rank she hadn't heard in 3 years. Your performance during the pirate assault has been noted at the highest levels of Special Operations Command. Thank you, sir. Just maintaining operational security as instructed. Webb activated a classified display showing tactical analysis of the engagement. The systematic elimination patterns, precision marksmanship, and tactical innovations demonstrated capabilities that exceeded most special operations units. Hadley, 29 hostile combatants eliminated with 0 friendly casualties while maintaining perfect cover identity. That's not just operational security, that's operational artistry at the highest possible level. Sir, the situation required adaptive response to protect classified operations and personnel. Your adaptive response prevented what intelligence analysis indicates would have been catastrophic compromise of multiple ongoing operations. The pirates had detailed intelligence about SEAL deployments, operational procedures, and personnel assignments that could only have come from the highest levels of military command. Webb displayed satellite imagery and communication intercepts that revealed the scope of what the pirates had planned. Complete intelligence extraction from captured SEALs, followed by systematic execution to eliminate witnesses. The information would have been sold to terrorist organizations and hostile governments. The intelligence compromise suggests either extensive penetration of military communications or active collaboration from inside sources. Your assignment aboard USS Thunderbolt was designed to identify those sources. Sir, did the engagement provide the intelligence we needed? Beyond our expectations, the pirates' communication equipment contained contact information, financial records, and operational details that have led to the identification of intelligence networks throughout Special Operations Command. Webb paused while reviewing additional classified materials. More importantly, your performance has demonstrated the effectiveness of deep cover protection for Special Operations Forces. We're expanding the program. He displayed global assignments where similar cover operations were being implemented. Deep cover operatives in support positions throughout Special Operations environments, cooks, mechanics, medics, clerks, personnel who can provide both routine services and emergency protection. Sir, how extensive will the expansion be? Every major Special Operations facility, every forward operating base, every ship-carrying SEAL teams. We're ensuring our people are protected by someone who can do more than serve coffee when situations deteriorate. Sir, what about operational security for the expanded program? Each operative maintains complete cover identity with support from intelligence assets that provide legitimate backgrounds and career histories. Your cooking credentials, for example, include graduation from culinary school and 3 years of restaurant experience that can be verified through multiple sources. Webb smiled slightly. The beauty of the program is that no one suspects support personnel of possessing advanced combat capabilities. You've been serving meals to Navy SEALs for 3 years without any of them suspecting your background. 6 months later, Petty Officer Hadley Brooks was serving breakfast to Navy SEALs aboard USS Leviathan when hostile forces attempted to board the submarine during a covert insertion operation near Syrian territorial waters. The attackers expected to find a submarine crew with limited combat capabilities and SEAL personnel who were unprepared for defensive operations. Instead, they encountered the same nightmare that Somali pirates had faced: a ship's cook who doubled as a Delta Force operative with unlimited authorization to protect American Special Operations personnel. The underwater engagement occurred in confined spaces where Hadley's knowledge of submarine systems provided even greater tactical advantages than surface ship operations. The attackers found themselves trapped in a steel tube with someone who understood every access route, every defensive position, every system that could be weaponized. The engagement lasted 43 minutes and resulted in complete elimination of hostile forces. Official reports attributed the successful defense to crew training and defensive protocols, without mentioning the cook who had systematically eliminated 12 enemy divers using techniques that weren't taught in culinary school. The pattern continued for 2 more years. Hostile forces would target American special operations vessels, expecting to find limited resistance and valuable intelligence assets. Instead, they discovered that some cooks specialized in more than meal preparation. The Brooks Protocol, as it became known in the most classified circles of military intelligence, represented a revolutionary approach to protecting special operations forces. Deep cover operatives who could provide routine support services while maintaining readiness for combat operations that exceeded the capabilities of most infantry units. But the program's success created unexpected challenges. Hadley's dual role required constant vigilance to maintain cover while staying prepared for combat operations that could occur without warning. The psychological strain of maintaining perfect operational security while conducting routine duties tested the limits of human adaptability. "Sir," she reported to Colonel Webb during a classified review session, "the operational tempo is creating sustainability concerns. Maintaining cover for extended periods while staying combat-ready requires physical and mental resources that may not be indefinitely renewable." "Understood. We're developing rotation protocols that allow periodic extraction for training updates and psychological evaluation. The program's success doesn't justify burning out our most effective operatives." Webb displayed operational statistics that demonstrated the program's impact on special operations security. Hostile actions against American forces had decreased significantly as enemy organizations learned that targeting special operations personnel carried risks that exceeded potential benefits. "Your engagement aboard USS Thunderbolt has become required study for hostile intelligence services. They've learned that American special operations vessels may carry defensive capabilities that aren't apparent from standard intelligence gathering." "Sir, has the deterrent effect been measurable?" "Dramatically. Attempted attacks on special operations assets have decreased by 70% since word spread about USS Thunderbolt. Enemy organizations are reconsidering operations that might encounter unknown defensive capabilities. The strategic impact exceeded all expectations. Hadley's performance had created a deterrent effect that protected American special operations forces through uncertainty rather than demonstrated capability." 2 years after the USS Thunderbolt incident, Staff Sergeant Hadley Brooks received the Navy Cross in a classified ceremony attended by personnel who understood the significance of her dual role. The citation was deliberately vague. "For extraordinary heroism during combat operations resulting in the protection of American personnel and preservation of classified capabilities." But her greatest satisfaction came from operational reports that described missions completed successfully because enemy forces had chosen not to engage American special operations vessels. "Dear Petty Officer Brooks," read one letter from a SEAL whose team had completed a classified mission without hostile interference. "I want you to know that your coffee kept us going during those long operations. What I learned later is that you kept us going in ways we never understood. Thank you for being the guardian angel we never knew we had." Hadley maintained those letters in her secure files, reminders that the most important missions were often the ones that prevented combat rather than winning it. Her cover assignments continued for 3 more years, serving meals to special operations personnel while serving as invisible protection against threats that might materialize without warning. Kitchen duty had become the perfect platform for protecting America's most elite warriors. But the real innovation of the Brooks Protocol wasn't tactical. It was cultural. Hadley had proven that excellence could emerge from any role when circumstances demanded exceptional performance. The artificial distinction between combat and support personnel became meaningless when lives depended on someone's willingness to exceed their official responsibilities. "Some people serve meals," she told a classified gathering of military leaders who were evaluating the expansion of deep cover operations. "Others serve justice. The best serve both when the situation requires it. The USS Thunderbolt engagement became required study for special operations security, analyzed not for its tactical innovations, but for its demonstration that the most effective protection often came from unexpected sources. 29 pirates had learned this lesson permanently. They hadn't survived to share their newfound knowledge with others. The ship's cook, who became their worst nightmare, had taught them that some meals come with sides they never ordered, and some kitchens serve justice that leaves a lasting impression. Staff Sergeant Hadley "Ghost" Brooks had proven that the most dangerous predator on a warship isn't always the one with official combat training. Sometimes it's the one who's been hiding in plain sight, waiting for the moment when everything depends on their willingness to exceed every expectation. The long-term implications of Hadley's actions extended far beyond individual heroism to strategic changes in how military forces approached personnel security and threat assessment. Intelligence agencies from hostile nations began implementing new protocols for targeting American special operations assets, recognizing that support personnel might possess capabilities that exceeded conventional analysis. The Brooks Effect, as it became known in classified strategic planning documents, described the phenomenon where uncertainty about defensive capabilities created deterrent effects that exceeded actual force deployment. Enemy organizations couldn't determine which American vessels carried enhanced protection, forcing them to assume all special operations assets possessed similar defensive capabilities. This strategic uncertainty proved more effective than conventional security measures. Rather than deploying additional guards or defensive systems that could be observed and countered, the Brooks Protocol created invisible protection through the possibility that any support staff member might be a covert operative. "Sir," Hadley reported during her final assignment review with Colonel Webb, "the program's success has created new operational challenges. Enemy intelligence services are now conducting enhanced surveillance of all American support personnel, attempting to identify potential covert operatives." "Anticipated development," Webb replied. "We're implementing countermeasures that include false identities, deliberate misdirection, and enhanced background construction for legitimate support personnel." Webb displayed global intelligence reports showing how hostile organizations had adjusted their targeting procedures. "Your engagement has forced enemy forces to commit additional resources to intelligence gathering while reducing their confidence in successful operations against American assets." The strategic multiplication effect demonstrated how individual excellence could influence entire theaters of operation. Hadley's performance aboard USS Thunderbolt had created ripple effects that protected thousands of American personnel through enhanced enemy caution rather than direct intervention. 3 years after the USS Thunderbolt incident, Hadley received orders for her final assignment, establishing the Special Operations Personnel Protection School at a classified facility where the next generation of covert operatives would learn to excel in support roles while maintaining combat readiness. "Your legacy isn't just the pirates you eliminated," Webb observed during the transition ceremony. "It's the systematic transformation of how we protect our most valuable assets through integration rather than segregation of combat and support capabilities." The school Hadley established became the premier training facility for deep cover operatives who would serve throughout American Special Operations Forces. Her curriculum emphasized that excellence in support roles enhanced rather than compromised combat effectiveness, creating personnel who could serve dual functions without sacrificing proficiency in either area. Her training methods produced graduates who served with distinction throughout the global special operations community, many achieving their own legendary status through actions that couldn't be officially acknowledged. But perhaps the most significant achievement was cultural, proving that artificial limitations on human potential created vulnerabilities that could be exploited by those willing to exceed conventional expectations. Major Hadley Brooks, her final promotion recognizing contributions that transcended traditional military categories, had demonstrated that some boundaries exist only in imagination, and that excellence emerges when circumstances demand impossible performance from people determined to protect what matters most. The USS Thunderbolt remained in active service, carrying SEAL teams on classified missions throughout the world's oceans. The ship's galley displayed a small plaque that most visitors assumed commemorated routine food service excellence, outstanding culinary support during maritime operations. Only a select few understood that the plaque honored something far more significant: the moment when a ship's cook became a legend and proved that heroes emerge from the most unexpected places when everything depends on their willingness to exceed every limitation. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, you can subscribe to see more incredible stories like this one.